Hi, it's the M.L.M for the Soul channel, and I do have a topic for today. Before I begin, I just would like to say, may the words and expressions of my mouth and the thoughts and meditations of my heart find favor and acceptance before you, Hashem. And so people I thank who inspired me, I hope they can inspire you as well. And I will have links below this video to their sites. They are Rabbi Shalom Arush, Rabbi Lazer Brody, Rabbi Yosef Mizrahi, Rabbi Eli Mansour, Rabbi Elon Anavar, Rabbi Yuval Ovadia, Rav Daniel Asore, Nisan Baruch Black, David Sachs, Rabbi Michael Skobach, Jews for Judaism, Rabbi David Asher, and Rabbi Ron Ruvain. As well, if you've never checked out this channel before, I will have a link right below this video to my first video that explains what M.L.M for the Soul means, what it stands for, and what I'm doing. So today is an important topic. Again, this is taken from the emails I get weekly from Rabbi Eli Mansour, his weekly Parasha Insights, and actually you could also sign up to get them. But I like taking them, and I changed the title, but that's to say I use what he says, so of course that's why I mention his name to give him credit. So I call this criticism with love and sincerity. So like I said, it is an important topic, so just pay attention. And we all know that nobody likes to be criticized, but if you could do it in a more pleasant way, it actually will help the person. So this is related to Parashat Kedoshim, but actually this is for the upcoming week. We actually are doing a double Parsha, Haremot and Kedoshim, but this is just on Kedoshim. So one of the commands that we read in Parashat Kedoshim is the obligation of Hocheach Tocheach et Amitecha, which means to rebuke those who act improperly. The Torah does not subscribe to the belief that what other people do is not our concern. The Jewish nation consists of millions of individuals, but we all comprise a single entity, and we are thus all responsible for one another. Like the other expression that goes, "Kol Yisrael Arei Zel Zeh," that we're all responsible for each other. Hence, if we observe somebody acting inappropriately and violating the Torah, we are commanded to approach a person to correct his behavior. However, the Torah immediately adds, after introducing this command, "V'lo tisa alav chet," do not bear a sin on his account. So this means that we must not commit a sin by criticizing our fellow for a sin he committed. We are not allowed to humiliate a fellow Jew in the course of criticizing him or to lead him to commit worse sins. Criticism is permitted only if we are able to give it in a proper and effective manner. It does not give us license to embarrass somebody or to make him angry, which will only have the effect of leading him to additional sins. So if you know for sure that if you approach a person, and I'm just saying this, just kind of expounding on this, if you know for sure that you would approach a certain person and that they're going to get very angry or upset or cause them to, not want to do things, then of course you don't do that. Or if you have approached a person and they get like that, then you just don't. Or what I learned from Rabbi Mizrahi too is to ask them, is it okay if I share with you something? I think it's important that you know, and I don't want to make you upset, but I want you to realize that this is an important subject and things like that. The other thing Rabbi Mizrahi also mentioned was that what it is it's really our soul. Like, we get angry, but that's actually stirring us up because it's really the soul that's being affected, and it's not happy with what's going on, but trying to fight it is more the Yetzer Hara, trying to fight like the physical aspect of the person. So anyway, continuing on. So there's a famous story told about the Chafetz Chaim, who's Rabbi Yisrael Meir Kagan of Radin, that exemplifies the proper approach that we must have to this mitzvah. This is a really beautiful story, and I've heard it before. A rabbi in the United States was once giving a speech in which he mentioned an incident that took place in the Chafetz Chaim's yeshiva when a student was found smoking a cigarette on Shabbat. And the Chafetz Chaim, I should say, he lived from 1839 to 1933, just so you know when this, this happened a while ago. The Chafetz Chaim heard about what happened and called the boy into his office. The boy arrived, spoke with the rabbi for a few moments, and then left completely changed. He never again ever dreamed of smoking on Shabbat, and he grew up to become a fully observant and devoted Jew, right? Wow, amazing story. So we would all want to know, so what did he do, right? So after telling his story, the rabbi lamented the fact that we do not know what the Chafetz Chaim said to this student. If we did know, we would perhaps have the key to effectively influencing today's young people to embrace Torah observance. After the rabbi finished his talk, an elderly man approached him. "I am that boy," he told the rabbi. "I was the student in the Chafetz Chaim's yeshiva who was caught smoking." The rabbi excitedly asked the man, "So what did he tell you? How did the Chafetz Chaim convince you to stop violating Shabbat?" The man's response stunned the rabbi. "As soon as I walked in," the man told, "the Chafetz Chaim took my hand and held it tightly. With tears streaming down his face, he looked lovingly into my eyes and said, 'Shabbos, Shabbos, Shabbos.' That was all. He did not shout at me, he did not get angry at me, and he did not lecture me. He just said, 'Shabbos, Shabbos, Shabbos.' I saw sincerity in his pain, and I felt the hot tears fall from his face onto my hand, and I could never bring myself to smoke on Shabbat again." Amazing, right? Just the sincerity that he had. So this story has since become quite well known, and it must inform the way we approach the delicate subject of criticism. The way to effectively encourage a change in behavior is not through anger and harsh criticism. This will most likely result in hostility and resentment, which will lead the person to go further in the opposite direction. Of course, we don't want that. So the proper way is through love and sincerity, hence part of how I got this title for this video. So this is particularly true in our generation, when people are especially sensitive and emotionally fragile and are so easily hurt and offended. That's unfortunately the case, where years ago, all they talked about was reward and punishment, and people knew that they had to wake up and do the right thing. They weren't offended by hearing that. But unfortunately, in this generation, people are much, you could say, kind of weaker in a way, or I don't mean to say that in a negative way, but they're kind of like, can't handle things when the truth is there, the MS. If we want to promote change, we must follow the inspiring example of the Chavetz Chaim, the example of showing love and concern for all our fellow Jews, regardless of their level of observance, and displaying our passion for Torah and mitzvot and their centrality in our lives. That's, again, important, too. Regardless of where they're at, you still have to show them love and try to bring them around. Try to find ways where you can encourage them. This approach will please Hashem gradually have the effect of bringing our fellow Jews back to Torah observance, so that we will be worthy of our long-awaited final redemption speedily under the days, Amen, and that we will all merit to live and see the coming of Mashiach and the rebuilding of our final Beis HaMikdash, Amen, and thanks for watching.